Well, it's not happening in Spain, but we are seeing lots of signings elsewhere. Let's start with maybe Todd Boehly's Chelsea with brand new faces. I don't know if I could even tell you everyone that they signed off the top of my head. Let's go to Pablo on this one, our Chelsea expert on the pod. What are you making of Chelsea's January transfers?
Wait, Pablo, can I suggest a game quickly?
Okay.
Should we do we all try to name one Chelsea signing?
Oh,
and the first one who misses lose. Yes.
Does it have to be from January?
Of course, my horse.
Okay. Who starts?
You cannot look on Google.
Yeah.
No, I would never look on Google.
Okay, Pablo, you start.
Enzo Fernandez.
João Felix.
Oh, good one.
Mudryk.
Malo Gusto.
Damn, I forgot about that. 5.
Well,
4.
Technically, I'm going to take this one. Nkunku.
3. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Noni Madueke.
Oh, I forgot about him. Andre Santo.
How do you forget about that? That's the thing.
There's so many. I forgot about him. No, Madueke is the one I forget about the most because it happened when I was out.
Yeah, forget about it. Don't give John the answers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be out.
5.
I know there was 1 or 2 from Ligue 1.
3.
I don't have their names.
2.
I can't remember.
1. 0. And
who else did you have?
Fofana.
Oh, Fofana was January. I was going to say Fofana.
No. The other. There are 2 Fofanas. Wesley, the one they signed from Leicester, and they signed another one.
Yeah, David.
That one was summer.
Yeah.
That one was summer. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
they
what
signed
I was
another
picturing
Fofana.
anyway.
Who else was there?
Badiashile.
Oh my god.
Badiashile.
I'm pulling it up now and I'm out.
How many
they
are there?
Signed. Who's they signed?
Solina wasn't now.
No, Solina wasn't now.
That's it. I think.
I don't know. I think that's
there's
it.
one that were.
No, there were 15, dude. There were crazy numbers of transfers. I'm gonna
you might have some lower down.
Did anybody say Malo Gusto?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
you did. And
I think that's it.
Okay, that was it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 signings.
Yeah.
Right. That's insane. That's insane. First of all, let me just say Pulisic needs to leave. Got to get out this summer. He has no chance.
Go back to Dortmund.
Maybe anywhere. He needs a fresh start. So get him out. But for those that are staying, what does this mean for Chelsea, Pablo?
Yeah, well, it's been quite an incredible month at Chelsea, obviously, and quite an incredible, I'd say, period, actually, since Todd Boehly took over. I think when you look back, and it wasn't even a year ago that Chelsea was set to lose everything, on the verge of liquidation. Abramovich leaves. Who on earth is the club going to be sold to? A quick sale process. This American comes in who everyone doubts and thinks this is it for Chelsea comes in. And I think to then see Chelsea, with not even a year later, spend just insane amounts of cash like that we've never actually seen before in European football, more than even PSG and Man City. I think it's quite an incredible turnaround, actually. And it's almost like hats off to Boehly. I think if he's splurged cash and it doesn't turn out, then this will be an error. But we've spoken about it before. The recruitment team he's put in place off the field, the data analysis team he's put in place off the field, the way him and Bedadik Bali, his kind of number 2 co-owner, the way they negotiate is quite impressive. They seem strong in the market. They seem willing. They seem determined. And ultimately, they will want the best deal for Chelsea Football Club. What we've seen is quite an ambitious set of owners here. And that's got to be positive when you've got people who don't just come in, don't show their face, don't sign players in the market. They've seen things on working. They've seen they haven't liked things on and off the pitch, and they're changing a lot. Like I said, if this big splurging of cash of all these different profiles, if it doesn't work, which it could not, then people will point fingers and say, you didn't have a strategy there. But the hope is with all these people they've brought in off the pitch, at higher up, They will have a strategy. And ultimately what we've seen from Chelsea as a club, like I say, on the verge of liquidation, who everyone was joking for, I just saw a video from Arsenal Fan TV and Tottenham Fan TV linked up, and around March, April last year, they went around Stamford Bridge with pots and they were getting people to throw £1 coins in to donate to Chelsea. So when you look at that, and that Thomas and that Thomas Tuchel offered to drive the bus to Lille away in case we couldn't pay for the flights, to think that Chelsea now spend 100 million on a new player every 3 days is quite satisfying. So, you know, we've got the whole of the Premier League crying again, the whole of world football crying again, and that, some of it I see is fair enough. And we may get onto that later in terms of the spending of the Premier League. But for Chelsea, I mean, the hope is that it's great and that it puts Chelsea very high up in world football again, because we like being there. And now let's just wait and see how all these signings go.
Yeah. BUGA, what do you think about what's going on? Are you excited for what Chelsea's doing? Is this too outlandish? What's your reaction?
He's muted.
He's muted. BUGA's just mouthing words.
Okay,
there you go.
I was gonna say. I remember back when Pablo, when you said the thing about the pot they put in the £1 coins, £1 coins. It reminds me to like when Barcelona, they were like in live streams when they were signing like Christensen. People would donate for the live stream to sign like Lewandowski, to sign like Haaland and shit like that.
I put a few bucks in.
No, really?
I definitely did. Yeah,
that money
absolutely.
is never gonna be seen the light of day.
Some of it was to try to promote my channel, but you know, it was a donation nonetheless.
No, I'm giving that Super Copa win to you, John, for bringing us Lewandowski.
Thank you.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. So I think I said it before. I feel it's kind of like halfway through two projects. I think they have sort of the players that were before with Thomas Tuchel and now with Boehly, Potter. Look, if they're going to spend that much money, I think Potter 100% doesn't have a say on anything that happens. I don't think he has a say, but I do feel that sort of similarly to what Paulo was saying, there's sort of a project or hierarchy, something up there that they kind of do know what they're doing. They have to. They cannot invest like this. It's so dumb. It would be the worst business ever. So there has to be some sort of roadmap going on. And I feel it's halfway there. Like players like, for instance, Raheem Sterling, I feel that that's a player who's is not part of this plan. Ziyech also is not part of whatever they're trying to build here anymore. And players like that. Jorginho, for instance, he left. He went to Arsenal. I feel that's
I did not see that one coming at all.
Me neither, but I feel it's a perfect signing. I think it's a perfect signing for Arsenal.
I agree. It's a good move for Arsenal. I was surprised that Chelsea let him go. I mean, were there rumblings of that I just didn't catch? Like, that was a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm. I feel that it's because Arsenal couldn't get Moises Caicedo.
Yeah.
That's why.
And also Chelsea going for Enzo, so
I'm surprised that, for instance, they also put like Conor Gallagher up for sale.
Yeah.
That's some 40 million euros is what Everton offered, which is insane for a player like him. He rejected them. And that's the thing. I'm not too sure who's doing the business there. I feel that Todd Boehly does have a plan of kind of what he wants this club to be or the starting 11 to be. But when you take a look at, for instance, what Potter has in his whiteboard and what Boehly has in his desk, they're completely different. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you feel, Pablo, that's sort of the right indication?
I mean, look, we will have to see how Potter uses all these players. That's the question. Mm-hmm. He's got a very bloated squad. Chelsea didn't manage to get rid of Ziyech either. And like you say, you've got a lot of players now who Chelsea would have to go, not only to trim the squad, but also to recoup some funds. I mean, if you got 50 million for Gallagher, that immediately recoups an awful lot because, you know, there's nothing that Chelsea have to pay for Gallagher. He's an academy player. So that's a lot of money on the table immediately. And I think Chelsea will recoup some funds in the summer. But you are right. It's sort of in the middle of a rebuild, kind of in a limbo. Maybe that's why even players who I adore, like Jorginho, you know, why it's not even bad news for them to go because Chelsea would have been losing him either for free in the summer or for 12 million now. You know, 15 million euros is solid business. But we have to see how Potter does because we know that this is Potter's like project almost, or at least Bodie's picked him to be the head of it. And now we've got to see if he can cope with it.
Mm-hmm. But let's mention some of the transfers. Like, what, for instance, you mentioned quickly, John, you mentioned Pulisic, for instance. I feel that Pulisic watching Mudryk play in that game against Liverpool, he was like, oh, fuck.
He was 100%.
He was like, damn.
Yeah, he started dusting off his resume in that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, Modric was, I think I've heard many people say this before, he's potentially the biggest like spark, or at least that sort of like, I'm not gonna compare him to Dembele, but that player who like gets you up your seat, just that little of like Brazilian magic flair who knows how to dribble the ball. I feel he has that in his locker, and you really haven't had that seeing someone like Hazard. Yeah. So I feel he's gonna, no matter what, he's gonna have a sort of impact, because those sort of players, they tend to fit better with the team, with the fans. They like that a little bit more. So I feel he's gonna be a good signing. Likewise, Enzo Fernandez. That's the one.
I'm not in love with Enzo Fernandez.
I love Enzo Fernandez. I love this guy. Like I honestly, if I see that guy in a party, I would like chat him up.
I was gonna say you're gonna kiss him on the mouth. That's where I thought you were going with it.
Just I was gonna say that. I was trying to insinuate that, but
right on the mouth.
I was gonna insinuate that, but I didn't have the balls to say it on.
Okay, that wasn't your announcement.
No, that wasn't my announcement.
Yeah, that's okay. Everybody, you're free to just be you. You know what I mean? Safe place.
If you want to kiss Enzo Fernandez, you can kiss Enzo.
Yeah, you want to kiss Enzo? You kiss Enzo. You kiss him on the mouth if you want to.
Where does he play?
Where is he going to play?
Yeah,
I think Chelsea will end up doing a double pivot.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that much of an issue where Enzo plays. I think he'll play for sure. Chelsea have been starting, like Gallagher or Zakaria in midfield for months now under Potter. I think he goes straight in. Him, Jorginho's gone now. Kante's never fit. Him next to Kovacic, who's also always injured. Next to Mount, and I think he'll have plenty of.
I'm scared for Enzo Fernandez.
You know who would have been nice to play next to is Jorginho.
Yeah. I feel like
honestly.
I know, yeah.
Because I feel like for instance, you tell me Mount playing as a, I don't know, I just don't feel he's a complete midfielder to play in the middle of the park with three others.
No, he shouldn't be playing.
He's not an interior.
He's not saying. I think he can play as an 8.
As an 8, yes. I don't really like him as like a 10.
No, I mean,
yeah.
I would say
him as a 10.
I prefer him as a 10. Or as a right winger, or sort of like right-sided midfielder. I think Chelsea should play like Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't feel you have a pivot, like a proper defensive pivot. You don't have that, and that's where you're going to be lacking.
They still need Declan Rice in the summer, who obviously is now going to be close to Arsenal with Caicedo. But we see, and then further forward, you've got kind of Felix. You'd think Felix, Modric, and Madueke maybe. And then Havertz up front, maybe.
I don't know.
I'm surprised that Havertz has stuck around and continued to play in the number 9 position, because that's not where he prefers to play. Am I right? I know it's been some time now, and he's certainly adapted. But I'm surprised that he hasn't looked for somewhere that's going to put him where he wants to be playing.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he has scored a few goals for Chelsea. He's kind of the guy we look to for goals. I mean, he doesn't really get many, but neither do we. Even looking at when we beat Crystal Palace 1-0, he got the goal against Liverpool, the 0-0. He got the goal that was disallowed just for offside. So he's kind of the guy Chelsea look for goals, and he probably will be for the remainder of the season, whilst there isn't a striker. But I think you're right, John. It's not his favourite role. I don't think Havertz wants to be the last man on the defence, having to pin up centre backs. I know Bayern Munich are always quite interested in him, but they'd want to play him in the 10, and they've got Musiala, so they just ruled off that move completely. So I'm not sure what Havertz does. I think he'll stay, to be honest.
Okay. I like Havertz. I think he's a sort of player that has lived just because of that goal in the Champions League final. Like he has lived longer because of that reason.
It's true.
At Chelsea, in a Chelsea shirt. I would play I feel Enzo Fernandez next to Kovacic. Very attacking, I would play Kovacic, Enzo Fernandez, and then I go like Mount, Havertz, and then like João Felix off the left or Modric. And then I will put the back free. Because for instance, I still don't understand why is Koulibaly injured or whatnot, because people are like in their best Chelsea 11s, they go like Bariashile on top of Koulibaly, and I go like, did you forget that this guy is like amazing?
No, we didn't. He's not amazing.
But he is. You just have to give him time to That's what I'm saying. Players
But-
like they need time to adapt. They need time to play.
Pablo says he's had 6 months. He's out.
Yeah. Badiashile has been class, to be fair. He looks really good, very good young centre-back, slick on the ball, big presence. I think he'll be next to Thiago Silva, and if we want to go to a back three, but Badiashile on the left, Thiago Silva in the middle, and then Fofana on the right. So the truth is, Chelsea, we're listing all these players. None of these blokes play for us. None of these lads actually play for us because they're injured all the bloody time. So like, we're talking about players here: Fofana, Kante, Kovacic, James, Chilwell. Even the three up front we've mentioned, like Felix, Madueke, and Mudryk. None of these lads have played. The only person that actually plays in the ideal starting lineup for Chelsea is Thiago Silva. So, like we said on last podcast, for Chelsea to actually get up the table, that has to change. And now they've got the signings to do it. And well, it's going to be quite interesting to see how they bed in because it is kind of like quite career modey in the way that there's, you've got almost like 6 new signings in a starting lineup, like Badiashile, Enzo Fernandez, and then like a new front four. So it's quite crazy.